Hey, 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 all you happy lost souls. I know it's been a little while. The first thing I want to do is say thank you all. The channel is growing over 600. There'll be another giveaway chance at 1,000 subscribers. When we get closer, we'll announce that. But anyways, I just want to put up a short video here, and there'll be another video coming up shortly that's a little bit longer, explaining some more of the corundum stuff. The focus on this video is just going to be showing you some super rough corundums right out of the creek that we found recently in a couple different areas. Some blue, some yellows, some cool color, different tones. I'm pulling them out of my bag here. They're really not going to look like much until we get them cleaned up. And it's really what you have to realize with a lot of these rough gemstones. You kind of, when you're finding them out in alluvial deposits and creeks and things like that, you really got to have an eye for the shape. The very square looking shapes, the ones that aren't rounded because they're so hard. Remember, aluminum oxide, which is corundum, comes in all different colors. It's what rubies are and sapphires are. Extremely hard right under the diamonds on their hardness for natural materials. So, and then we got some more corundums here we'll keep pulling out. And these ones are actually blue. And you'll see how blue these are and they get washed up. So we've got some essentially corundum type ore here, some different schist complexes with different sapphires in them. Some are just all corundum, and transformation has been fully done in these. And this one I brought because it was green, but I'm pretty sure this is just some old paint or glaze from a, yeah, it's exactly what that is. So that one doesn't really have any reason to wash. It's not a corundum, but these rough corundums are the blue from the Pennypack area, the other stuff from Wissahickon area. But you can see that barrel formation again, keeping that same type of barrel shape in those corundums. And you get that waxy looking edge where it gets real hard. These will look a lot better when we clean them. Now for cleaning purposes on these brand new ones right out of the creek, I just use a little Dawn dish soap, warm water. I use a little tiny bit of Lysol and a little bit of Comet. And the reason I put a little bit of Comet in there, it's a bleach type product. It gets through some of the organic algae and stuff. Some of the stuff's been in creeks. It's got algae embedded in it. All these little silicates get embedded in it. And a lot of this chemical solution has seemed to help break down and dissolve a lot of that surface filth. And the reason we want to do this, especially when you find creeks in the northeast, or find rocks in creeks on the northeast, the big issue is parasites, and a lot of times it comes from raccoon defecating and raccoon urine and feces, and you get all kinds of parasites on these rocks. So whenever you get your rocks home, you want to clean them real good. This is like a warm water solution with the Dawn. It's just an old little kitty litter pan from a Dollar Tree and some dishwashing stuff. And the next video I post very soon will show you some techniques I use to just polish and buff some of the real rough stones. I'm not a professional cutter, but I like to get them nice and cleaned up so you can see their natural beauty. And my next video, I'll actually be reaching out to people that know how to cut these things and see if we can work out a deal or something. You can see the gem barring in that, the rubification. This here is not... This just has the material in it that I wanted to show you. This layered type of sedimentary agate type rock. It's really a type of soapstone, but it has a lot of chromate running through it, and that's how you get rubies. That's how the red gets into the aluminum oxide. I'll explain more about the processes the next video. And after these things soak in here a little bit, you just want to go to town and start scrubbing them with your brushes and getting all that filth off of there. Let's even put my phone down on this stand for a second here. And then in my next video, I'll be going over some of the higher end stones and different tools we use to polish the corundums down. Now I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania. You can find a lot of corundums in Maryland. You can find them in Connecticut. You can find them any place that has rich shale layers and schist layers that are high in aluminum. It's mainly the schist. And here's an example of that schist. It's this real gold color because it's got a lot of iron in it too. It's got a lot of tin in it. It also gets I have more of this Wissahickon schist over here somewhere. Thought I put a piece out here to look at. What did I do with it? Maybe I put it back. Didn't bring it out. Well, oh, here it is. So the schist will also form garnets in it. And this schist is in the mantle, and it's this is mesomorphic rock that gets pushed up, this gummy molten rock from volcanic and seismic activities that gets pushed up towards the surface. It actually heats up the shale and schist, and because schist forms in layers, all this oxygen gets in between those layers, and if there's a ton of aluminum, that heating and pressure system forms the corundum. And really high grade examples of these corundums, they're all gemstone, they're all aluminum oxide. They're really high grade examples go into jewelry, and if they have color changing properties, they're worth even more. Color is more important in this stone than clarity in a lot of cases, and inclusions, and that's for professional cutters to determine how easy the rock is to cut. But some of these are just massive pieces of corundum. And we'll let this soak for a while before we scrub. It'll make our scrubbing a little easier. You can still see the shape on this one, that real hexagonical shape going on. And they form in these barrels, squares, hexagons, stop sign like patterns, pentagon shapes. These are all corundums. This is probably not a corundum. It's corundum ore here. You can see the bluing in there. And once these get cleaned up, I'll show you just how blue some of these are. Your blue or your color changing sapphire, I got some color changing ones that are higher quality that I'd love to get into in the newer video, but these will shift from a dark purple to a blue, to a pink sometimes. There's a pink star in the middle of this one, but these have color changing properties. And that dark blue to purple shift, that is caused by a very, very not rare element, but an element sometimes that gets trumped by the darker element that turns things blue. So there's ilmenite or titanium that runs through some of the schist that causes these darker sapphires. And this right here is an example of a dark, dark blue sapphire in yellow. I thought this was I think it's called campanite. I thought that's what it was originally, but no, it's just more corundum, extremely hard. And this would be considered really low grade blue sapphire because it's almost black. The lower the grade, the darker it ends up being. And then you get a lot lighter of sapphire still in these perfect little square corundum shapes. You can really see the color changing properties in these, and the metal that does that is vanadium. And because it has these radioactive properties, it shifts the light spectrums, and these things grow in layers and it create a prismatic effect. So when different angles of light, different intensities of light hit it, the color will change drastically. I just want to show you some of the higher end ones, and then we'll get into like finding some ruby type ore where, the schist, you can see the actual ruby or rubification in there. And we even see that in some of these artifacts where you get this rubitized ore. You often see this green material running through it, the serpentine. But this all is rubitized ore in here. And the Native Americans are utilizing this to make commemorative and spiritual type effigy stones and pieces, mainly of turtle heads. Like that's a turtle head right there. But I don't want to digress too far off the path. I just wanted to show you that I was out recently and I found a couple more corundums really, really quick. I wasn't really on a rock hunt. I just went hiking. And I'm going to put some footage up at the end of this video of me hiking around like Blair Witch style through the woods, just to chill out and relax. You can see some of the spots where we go find the stuff. And anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for your support. All you corundum kids and corundum kings out there, please tune in. And realize if you live in these areas and you got a lot of colorful stones in a creek somewhere, to take a closer look at them. Obviously, there's a couple ways like to identify them. I'll get more into that in the other video. But I just wanted to post something because it's been a little while, guys. I love you all, and keep clicking, keep subscribing, keep helping the channel grow. Share, comment. I see tons of people out there that have similar finds. Beautiful rubies and corundums found down in Maryland. I saw someone's channel. It's like an old farm they were on. So there's really cool stuff out there. A lot of people are finding this stuff. What I really found fascinating is the discovery of all the arrowheads, because that's really what I'm really schooled in, is the archaeology side, the anthropology, stone tools, stone tool design, time period, styles, identification. And I realized that these Solutrean style points, these non-fluted style points, some bifacially flaked, some unifacially flaked, I realized that they were made out of something much harder than quartz, much harder than chert, much harder than flint. And I realized they were utilizing this corundum material, which grows a lot of times in these flat triangular sheets anyway. So all they would really have to do is kind of sharpen them. You can see how some of this corundum will grow. It grows in these sheets, but you don't have to do much to utilize a crazy edge out of that stuff, or a crazy type of drill bit. This is more corundum. Sometimes you'll see a different color crust in the interior. That's telltale corundum. See some really rough corundum here. You can see the red around the bluing inside. And this is so rough that this may not even be pure corundum. This may be a material that we find in industrial use a lot. We find them on our nail boards and nail files. It's called embry. And embry is right before corundum. Like they form under the same conditions, but with some other impurities involved. But anyways, very fascinating. I'll show you some of these higher end rubies soon in the next video. But anyway, please subscribe to Happy Lost Souls. Spread the word. Comment, like, share. I love you all. Peace, love, empathy. Stay safe. Stay adventurous. Stay lost. Please subscribe to Happy Lost Souls. Love you all. Good night. And so we just cleaned it up. It was a little hard for me to clean the rocks and stay on film. But just for the initial little scrubbing, I want to show you how blue some of these are, how blue that blue is when it really comes out. And this is all of your corundum or corundum complexes. Mainly, this is really neat here because you can actually see the schist layer right there, this crazy mesomorphic layer of granitized and schist, granitized type schist. You can see that the sapphire or the aluminum oxide, the big hunk of blue color changing aluminum oxide is growing right out of this hunk here. Now, what was interesting, I found another piece similar that has a lot of starring and inclusions in it, but same type of shade. When you look on the back of this, you'll notice what that is that is literally part of tar. So where I found these, an old abandoned road is being ripped up and remodified into a trail. So they had ripped all the asphalt and the cobblestones down to pretty much the bedrock or the ground, the actual ground layer they put the road on top of, and when they ripped this all up, there's some huge chunks of blue sapphire under there. And the other issue is I see tons of people saying, oh, it's quartz. I know the difference between quartz and aluminum oxide. The white sapphire and clear sapphire can look a lot like quartz on video and by eye, but the properties, the weight, the density, it's heavier, it's harder, it's stronger. It grows in these crazy different patterns like I've showed you before, like with the barrel shape, and then you get like the hexagon structures. You can get a star right there in the middle. You see that white starring right there? And you can see all these hexagonal patterns that are growing in these layers. And that's a big old piece of white and clear sapphire. And you can literally see the remnants of the tin schist right in here that it grew out of. Remember, schist and silicates do not grow inside of aluminum oxide. They grow out of it. They'll grow out of schist and they'll grow out of silicate-based materials, but there'll never be silicates running through them. It's not a silicate. They don't exist in the same place. So it's literally a type of mesomorphic rock with a high metal content that transforms itself into a different element under the right heat and pressure called aluminum oxide. And these, the majority of all these are examples except for that piece of, that's rich in the material that causes rubies, which is chromate. So that is chromate and iron ore in soapstone. But anyways, there'll be another video up. Just want to show you the after effects of scrubbing them real quick and how blue they get and how neat that is. But anyways, stay tuned. There'll be another video up, and I love you all, and please subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, it's just a chill channel with my music, my rocks, and some of my archaeological findings over the years. So anyways, I love you all. Peace, love, stay lost, stay happy. Please subscribe.